Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Come for a drink, but stay for speculation. It's been 200 years since a little novel called Frankenstein was published. Today we look at its author, Mary Shelley, the creature she created, and the influence that Frankenstein has had on science fiction and pulp culture, one piece at a time. So stitch yourself a pint and embrace the monstrosity. We got this all sewn up. This is a SciFi Pubcast. Greetings. Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. And I'm looking around this fine establishment, and who do I see before me? Well, really on Skype. It's Carrie Simpson. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, and we have Derek Beebe as well, hiding in the back.
He's alive!
He's alive! Well,
Oh,
first...
it's just a figment of my imagination that he's alive.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been trying to persuade the Ewoks that maybe they don't really want to eat Derek.
Yeah, they probably get indigestion or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
And we don't want to get sued. So, yes, we're.
Well, they
like,
won't. They probably won't. They probably won't sue us, but they might try to eat you next.
Yeah. That's why I kind of like run away fast. So. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually was very sick for a good week there, so this is the first day I do feel alive.
Well, that's really good. But you should have taken some days off when you're sick. You don't want to keep on working in the kitchen, Derek. That's frowned upon by the health authorities.
Yeah, we can't be spreading germs like that.
Yes,
really.
Yes. And just to our fine customers out there, we have to apologize. It's been a couple of weeks since we got a show out. Work has been kicking my ass at my real job, which I don't want to talk about ever. But I'm back. Plus, I was on vacation. I went down.
And then I was on vacation.
And Derek was on vacation. I was in Arizona, where it rained. I brought the rain gods, apparently. And I was in, Anaheim and Los Angeles. And I managed to hook up and see Carrie Simpson as well.
Who was not on vacation, and that hooking up to have very bad.
Oh no! I don't.
Nothing
No.
happened.
Okay, I'm
Nothing.
sorry.
No.
So I don't speak these kids slang talk. I'm sorry. I know
This is Canadian for we hung out for a few hours and then we went our separate ways.
Yes, that's right. And actually, we had dinner at this Japanese restaurant with Ernie Garcia, the network director of When Nerds Attack. So
that was fun.
So we all hook up with him as well. So now,
and we're not telling his wife about that one.
Oh no.
The hookup?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. I was actually at Disneyland for a couple of days with my cousin and her young family and had a grand old time. And the very next week, apparently, Derek, you were at Disney World?
Yes, the Orlando one.
Oh my God. So we were like two Disney places in the same time period, just about.
Yeah, it's like that song in in American Tail when we're singing under the same moonlight.
Oh God.
Somewhere out there.
Okay, so far we have Ewoks, we have sickness, we have Disney, and we have hookups. Yeah, this is going to be a great show.
How's the caffeine infusion coming, Joel?
I'm thinking I'm going to add some vodka to this tea. Excuse me.
That's not going to help. You're supposed to be waking. You're supposed to be awake, not
Yeah. See, we're recording on March 11th for hopefully a March 12th release. And it's what was that? It's the aliens again. It's daylight saving times for most of North America. Yeah, it doesn't go over very well.
No, it really doesn't.
No. They stole an hour of our lives.
Yeah, which I want back in the fall. Okay. Well, let's move on to our discussion item because we're talking about this historical person who has had a significant, nay, highly impactful, impact on science fiction and horror and drama in general. We're talking about the author novelist Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley was a woman who wrote Frankenstein back in 1818. Okay, so let's do the math. 1818. Oh my God, it's been 200 years.
Wow.
See? Wow, all those math classes.
Bicentennial.
Yeah, it paid off. So, Frankenstein is 200 years this old. It was written by Mary Shelley, who, when it was published, was 20 years old. She was a young English woman. But she wrote it when she was 18 years old. 18. I was still in high school when I was 18 years old.
Yeah, so was I.
Yes.
Joined the club.
So in terms of, I know there's lots of discussion in fandom right now about diversity and gender equality and all that good stuff. And it is really good stuff. But Mary Shelley invented this certain sub-genre of science fiction horror. The monster movie where, Frankenstein or Prometheus, because Frankenstein is known, the novel is known as Frankenstein, semicolon, or, comma, the modern Prometheus. Yes, that rolls off the tongue. So
that's the way people talked back in the 1800s.
Yeah, actually, I like my semicolons as well, but nothing beats a good semicolon, honestly. But you look at what she did. The creature she created, the creature, has been with us ever since. Like Dr. Frankenstein and the creature that may refer to by the same name have had an indelible influence on storytelling, be it horror, drama, science fiction, comedy. But really, who was Mary Shelley? And moreover, how has Frankenstein influenced popular culture? Because, man, we're going to address these questions piecemeal. So hopefully we get you in stitches, so to speak.
Oh wait! Very, very nice.
Yeah, I forgot to ask my dear good old friend Derek. Derek, how's the kitchen, anyways? I've been away. How's any issues? Any specials? What?
Yes, we're having a special today. I call it Frankenstein burritos, or the modern pro meal-ish. You know how people tend to only eat half of the burritos and then just throw them in the garbage? Well, I'm taking them out, stitching them back together, coursing them with electricity, and reserving them.
Oh, dear Lord.
I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. Do they crawl off the plate?
Well, no, but, by cooking them with electricity, that burns away any germs or calories, or not calories, any germs or illnesses. So it's all good.
I don't think that's how it works, Derek.
I'm just happy to see that Derek has been influenced by Mary Shelley's creation, Frankenstein.
Right.
We all have.
Yes, we all have. Hopefully my stomach has not been.
Yeah. Okay,
wait, you're not actually eating this food, are you, Carrie?
Hell no!
Oh, okay, good.
Hell no!
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have anything happen to someone I actually like.
Aw, that's almost sweet.
Yes.
Thanks.
This is why I stick to eating the bear nuts at the bar. That's about it. So, okay, let's get on topic. Mary Shelley. Do you guys know anything about Mary Shelley?
I attempted to read Frankenstein actually when I was in high school. I got about halfway through it, and I really need to try again at some point. But when I was in high school, it was kind of like, yeah, this was definitely written on a drug trip.
Yes. So
I couldn't finish it.
So you didn't get into the nuts and bolts of it?
Well, okay, it was like about halfway through, so the monster was already tormenting Victor at that point.
Yeah. So if our customers don't know who Frankenstein is, just Google it. Okay. Now, Mary Shelley, we mentioned briefly that she was 18 when she started to write this novel. But she came from quite an illustrious family, and she had lots of drama in her life. And she's by herself is quite an interesting person. Her father was this political philosopher by name of William Goodwin. You ever heard of Goodwin's Law? Which I won't actually mention what Goodwin's Law is right now, because who needs to mention those people wearing those color shirts? But yeah, so that's the philosopher. And her mom was this another philosopher and feminist, Mary Wollstonecraft. I'm sure I just butchered the name, and it's an English name. I should go to hell for that. But it is what it is. So she was raised in a very intellectual and rich, if not informal, household, and very liberal at the time. So she was born in 1797. So that's only 8 years after the French Revolution. It's about 15 years after the American Revolution. And she eventually died in February 1st, 1851. So she lived 53, 54 years old. But what's really interesting about Mary Shelley is because was such a great intellect, she was also known to hang out with some of the greats of the time period. Some of the more artsy-fartsy types. Hell, I'm talking about poets. I'm talking about people like Lord Byron and people like that. She even married one. She married, Percy Florence. No, sorry, that's a son. Percy Bysshe Shelley, who was one of the political followers of her father. So it's kind of like the early 19th century version of a hippie commune. Is that? Yeah, I'm not sure. That would be completely accurate, but it's definitely an artsy-fartsy connected household.
Given that she was 16, I wonder how old this guy was at the time.
And the guy was married at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not good. But it is what it is. So, I did mention she was quite liberal. So, okay. But look what was going on.
And to be fair, there were probably less issues with her getting together with an older man. Well, I mean, I don't remember if it's age of consent back then, but I mean, there were less issues with a 16-year-old marrying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think that was really a social issue back then.
Yeah.
No, I think the social issue was the fact that he was already married at the time. So he had to deal with that when she began the relationship with him. So, and then of course the husband, Percy Shelley, actually died tragically in 1822 when he was on a sailing boat and it sank during a storm.
And their first three children died not infancy. What do you call it when they're still in the womb? They died before birth. Prenatal or shortly thereafter. And I wonder, I wasn't really clear on the timing of that because it said by 1818 she had lost her first three children. So I don't know whether losing children was part of the conception of the Frankenstein story.
I think it definitely influenced her writing and her storytelling.
The desire to bring life to something that is lifeless.
Absolutely, and the whole thing is lifeless, and what is the soul, which we'll get into because it's fascinating. And the other thing about Mary Shelley is the way she died. She went out at age 53 with a brain tumor.
Ooh, wow.
So, and she was her last decade of her life was dogged by illness. And I'm reading directly off the Wikipedia site right now, so it's just to cite my sources, because we all know Wikipedia is the go-to site for podcasting. Yes, this is what happens when people have jobs outside of the podcasting world.
Well, okay, is it 1818? That's kind of like the start of modern medicine too, isn't it? Because that's when things started becoming less religious about people. There was a changeover from I have no idea what I'm saying. I clearly need more coffee.
Yeah, no, you're onto something. So we're talking about after the Age of Enlightenment, which led to the American Revolution and the French Revolution and several other things. This whole idea that a man can actually better the world and that man doesn't have to rely on a so-called God to do it.
Right.
It's a lot of, like, if you want to talk about Freemasonry, it's all about the clockmaker, right? Okay, God created everything. It's up to us to actually sort everything out.
But this is also kind of when they started, actually doing autopsies to try and figure out how the human body worked. It became less of a taboo. That I think didn't Michelangelo or Da Vinci do autopsies as well? But that was
I think
he was doing that in secret.
Yeah, there's a whole
I
body.
think that was
This
more
became
about
more-
just cataloging things, not
Yeah.
completely understanding them.
There's a
Right.
whole body of work on this. Actually, if you're interested in this part, I just listened to a podcast, a three-part podcast of the Mad Scientists with Dr. Chris Cogswell. You guys know that name, right?
Yeah.
We interviewed him. They did
Yes.
3 episodes, the last 3 episodes on the Mad Scientist podcast. Him and Marie Mayhew, they did it on surgery, and they got right into the science and the history of just about this time period, slightly after. Because they didn't know about germs, for instance, until like the 1840s,
Right.
thereabouts. But they go into the whole thing is that if you're a surgeon, it was against the law to use bodies unless it's like a capital punishment victim or perpetrator where they hanged or killed somehow. And so what you do when you want to experiment with bodies, well, you steal them. Or you buy
Right.
them off the black market, or you go out and you actually commit murder yourselves. And there's historical examples of surgeons actually doing this.
Like Jack
Right.
the Ripper.
Yeah, because you want to. Yeah, but it's things like how did the person die? Right? Okay, is it a healthy body, or did the body die? Or the person died from a disease? Are we talking about an elderly person? Or are we talking about a very young person? And if you're trying to apply the scientific method to see how the body reacts to elements of death, you need to have again a body of work or bodies to work on, right?
Exactly.
So Frankenstein didn't come out of like no place. It was in the milieu of the time period.
Right.
And I also read that they were talking, they were discussing amongst themselves about scientists who were putting forward theories about galvanism, the theory that you could stitch together a human body or use electricity to bring back the dead.
Oh yeah. All this stuff. It's kind of like, did Frankenstein start all this trends, or was trends happening before and Mary Shelley just picked up on it? And I think it's a bit of both. You really see this stuff coming up in terms of spiritualism, and I forgot the different terms to describe the exact nature of the study. But you're talking about electric shock therapy as a way to stimulate life, as a way to summon spirits, all this good stuff. That's like 1830s, 1840s, up until especially after the American Civil War came really popular, because people had such great losses. Everyone had lost a loved one.
Right.
And apparently they, when they were on their little European trip, they passed a actual Castle Frankenstein. And there was, back in the 1600s, a scandal involving gravediggers, which might have been the idea for it.
Oh, I hadn't.
And I can't find it right now, but they also mentioned that in the early 1700s, about 100 years before, here it is. In 1790, there was a French novel, a political parable about scientific progress involving an inventor named Frankenstein who creates a life-size automaton. So she didn't have the most... Obviously, that idea was already done to some degree, but hey, that's the way it is.
My understanding with Mary Shelley is that when she was really young, of course, we said she started writing when she was 18. She was at one of these parties we previously mentioned with all these hipsters from the 19th century, and they played a game of who can tell the best ghost story, and she came up with this, or at least the start of the Frankenstein story, right? And if you know about the story itself, we have Dr. Frankenstein, the person who actually the mad scientist type, and then we have the creature, who later became known as Frankenstein or Frankenstein's creature.
Right.
Who's the monster? Is it Dr. Frankenstein or the creature? Because if you read the story or you see the story, I think Dr. Frankenstein's more the monster than the creature. Well, what do you guys think?
It depends on. I think it depends on where. I think they're both kind of the monster, because one didn't have much of a choice in the matter. The other. The creature didn't actually have a choice in the matter, but what he did or did not do, depending on which story you're looking at, makes him a monster going forward. And if you look at, say, like Penny Dreadful, the creature is definitely bent on some kind of revenge, some kind of doing something to he's basically forcing Victor Frankenstein to create someone else like him. Actually, that's most of the stories. That's most versions of Frankenstein. That he's basically forcing Victor Frankenstein to make another one so that he won't be alone. But eventually he kind of gets away from that and kind of redeems himself in the end. At least in Penny Dreadful he does. I don't remember some of the others.
Yeah, I think that might be an option for Derek to actually get a wife. What do you think, Derek? Can you? Oh, maybe who knows? Okay.
I've tried everything
Let's
else.
not encourage him, Joel.
Hey, let me try it first, see if it works. Then, okay, I'll pass on the knowledge to you.
Don't encourage him, Joel.
Now, I haven't read the
come over
original. I haven't read the original novel, but just reading this Hypnosis now is very interesting. I didn't know that first of all, that the original one it's told through a series of letters. It's not a direct narrative, and also that the finale takes place on the North Pole. Yeah, I've never seen that in any adaptation.
Oh yeah, it's been around.
Actually, the 94 film by Kenneth Branagh that starts off at the North Pole.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've seen that.
It's Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Wait, no. Even better. The guy who is killed is Victor's mentor, played by John Cleese, and in stitching the creature together, he turns into Robert De Niro.
That's excellent.
So that's fun. That's excellent.
That's a facelift.
That is definitely.
There was
also a mini series with Alec Newman that also starts off at the North Pole.
Interesting.
I was also interested to learn that in the original novel, he's not actually a bunch of body parts stitched together. The narrative is apparently vague about it, but they say that he discovered some undefined mechanism to shape a human body out of. I mean, it does say that they raided corpses and whatnot, but it sounds more that it's not, here's a hand, here's an arm, but that they actually somehow blended it into a clay, if you will, and then he shaped the body, and he had to make it 8 feet tall because he wasn't able to do all the little organs and stuff by hand without making them larger.
Yeah.
So that was also very interesting to learn.
Yeah, Derek, you gotta have a heart, okay? Or two or three.
And the novel monster does seem to be kind of evil because he goes around strangling and killing everyone that Victor loves.
Okay.
So
he does actually. Yeah, he does that in the movie too. At least the 94 version he does, because basically he's trying to make Victor make another one, make him a companion, and when Victor refuses, he starts killing off everyone he knows. Everyone Victor knows.
Well, let's dig into this because that's interesting. And unlike most other adaptations of Frankenstein, the 1994 film, it's actually a very articulated, smart Frankenstein. If you hear clips of the movie, he actually asks very philosophical questions in a very elegant way. The creature.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he does.
Unlike the whole, Boris Karloff version, right, from 1931, or any of the other versions. So that's actually quite neat. Now,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, that was interesting to learn because obviously the popular conception of it is from the 1930s movie where he's this kind of childlike, innocent monster who's driven to violence just through fear, that he's not actually. I mean, I think they do show him reading books, but I'm pretty. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I don't think he ever speaks in complete sentences and stuff.
But it goes back, the question I posed a few minutes ago: who's the monster in this tale? Because you look at it, the doctor, Victor, he's the father, and he threw his son out to the wolves, abandoned him, didn't want anything to do with his creation.
And in the book, he locked him in the basement too.
Yeah, who wouldn't be pissed? Who wouldn't want revenge?
Yeah. Well, I think at some point, I think both sides are at fault. I mean, like I said, the monster didn't really have a choice in how he was created, but if he was at all intelligent, he did have some kind of choice in how he handled what was going on. But Who am I? Who's to say? You can only push even a stitched together man so far before he snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was driven to it. It was all he was left with.
I'm stealing this from elsewhere, but Dr. Frankenstein is a 19th century version of a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Right?
I can totally see that.
And then you can actually read other aspects of what's going on in the 19th century into this story. So, deadbeat dad, you can bring slavery into this because it's society who created slavery and then didn't take care of its own creation. You can bring feminism in it. Think about this. If men can create life, what does that do to the value of women?
We don't need women anymore.
So, obviously, we do, absolutely. But if there's normal births, it's almost like the men are usurping the role of a woman in a biological sense.
Right.
Yeah, you're not buying this. But it's really cool. And, of course, the whole thing is that, does the creature have a soul? Robert De Niro in the 1994 version of the film actually asks this directly. Do I have a soul? What defines life? With a soul, can you weigh it? Can you measure it? Can you smell it? Can you see it? Yeah. What is a soul?
And yet, in the original novel, the creature is only referred to as a wretch, monster, creature, demon, devil, fiend, abortion, abhorred devil. So, I mean, obviously, she is not the direct narrator since it's through letters, but I wonder if that is supposed to be telling the reader that this is a soulless monster.
Someone really should tell the creature that, right? But
So Joel, your theory is that she, as a woman, was warning mankind not to make babies with themselves and cut women out of the loop because they'll be soulless abominations.
Yeah, I think you need a village to raise a kid, right? Okay.
How are you going to do the nursing?
Carefully, that's the fascinating part about this piece of work is that you can read these different literary theories into it, and because it's art, it can make sense in a general way, or you can draw all these different analogies and examples, and just to make more sense of the story itself. Yeah. We haven't even talked about the big one that most people know Frankenstein about, which is the danger of technology and science, unbridled ambition, the power of the force, right? The power of making life in a modern scientific world.
It's a bit of a cautionary tale about how to do science badly or how not to do science badly, like how far is too far to go with science. It's the line from Jurassic Park. We spent so much time figuring out if we can do it, we didn't stop to ask if we should.
Yeah.
So it's where is that line of can we do this and should we do this?
Yeah.
And I thought it was very interesting that in the novel, Victor's dying words are avoid ambition. So
interesting.
His final message was, don't try to do these things.
Well, ambition can corrupt lots of things. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't know that. That's very insightful.
I'm starting to rethink these burritos now.
Yeah, if they kill the customers, Derek, that's on you. The two of us will deny all knowledge of it.
But how is Frankenstein still relevant in say today's world, right? You look at it, perhaps it's a bad idea to go out and steal body parts and sew them together to create Frankenstein. But can't the same thing be said, so to speak, in terms of what scientists, or at least some scientists do nowadays with, say, stem cells? So it's about what do we know and what path should we go down for the sake of knowledge. If it leads to the atomic bomb, is that a good thing or a bad thing? If it leads to the creation of robots and androids, if there's a singularity because artificial intelligence has overtaken organic intelligence. Hell, even like DNA slicing and engineering. Perhaps someday I can grow my hair back because I'm a bald guy. You know? And I keep on saying but it's fascinating if you look at what this story of Frankenstein can speak to on so many different levels.
On the subject of DNA splicing, I read a novel called Change Agent by Daniel Suarez, and in that they have the technology to rewrite your DNA to become a completely different person or identical to another person. And what that would mean is that you would never be able to convict someone of a crime because, you could just say, oh, that wasn't me, that was the other guy.
Mm.
And the whole criminal justice system would theoretically fall apart.
Well, again, this is sort of tempering science with some sort of morality, and where is the line, and how do we cross it, and if we cross it, how and what are the intentions? What are we trying to achieve by crossing the line?
Absolute power
corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, what's low acting quote is absolute power tends to corrupt. I'm going from memory. See, this is what happens with age.
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
that too. Yes.
I think
criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot.
Lovely. Yeah, power does.
Brightest day and blackest night.
Okay, guys, what about popular culture? Let's touch on that, shall we? The influence on Frankenstein, has it been felt in pop culture?
Herman Munster would say yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, really, any story of AI robots taking over, like Terminator or Battlestar Galactica, that's ultimately a Frankenstein story.
Yeah. I think the big one is Blade Runner. The idea that you can create this artificial life who then becomes very powerful and then do bad things.
Mm-hmm. Or there's also, have any of you watched Altered Carbon yet?
Not yet.
I watched one episode.
Because that's the concept of where does the mind stop and the body begin? Because if you can upload your consciousness to any body, then what's the point of what's the point of death? Again, this comes into where are the lines, and does death even have any relevance anymore?
Yeah, it's so true. I'm just trying. There's an episode of the X-Files, the new X-Files this season, that talks just about that, about being uploaded to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
it was the second episode of the new season.
Yeah. This season 11, episode 2, released January 10th, 2018.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it.
One of the few good ones this season.
Yeah, I'm a big X-Files fan, but some are just not great, but others are just outstanding. So you can say that, there's a direct lineage between Mary Shelley and the X-Files, somehow.
Well, a lot of people would call Frankenstein to be the very first science fiction novel story.
Absolutely. Because,
definitely.
How do you define science fiction? Well, you got both in the story of Frankenstein.
Yeah, because the Jules Verne stories didn't really invent new technology, but this Mary Shelley story was actually a new concept rather than just an existing one.
Mm.
Because let's see, Jules Verne had a big cannon shooting a ship to the moon, which was existing technology. The Nautilus submarine was, just a submarine. The Around the World in 80 Days airship was just an airship.
Right.
And now we have Skynet.
Not yet, but it's getting there.
And we should mention that whole Alien franchise with the whole Prometheus. Someone say the name for me. Thank you.
Prometheus.
Thank you. So the whole, where does life come from? Was it seeded throughout the galaxy, so to speak.
Oh yeah, the new movies definitely do that.
Yeah. And of course, there's not just science fiction that Frankenstein has influenced. It's other genres, like, say, comedy. Because who can forget the great movie called Word Science? I have it on Blu-ray.
Well, not even before that. Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah. Sure, bring up the classic. No.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, like Weird Science from 1985. Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
Kelly LeBrock. Yeah, Kelly. Did it say Kelly LeBrock? 1985. I was 11. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks, outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it brought such life to the genre.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course it did. The creature had a very, very important role in Monster Squad. I mean, he's the one who took down Dracula ultimately in that movie.
Scary stuff.
He was kind of a good guy in that one. He was kind of sweet in a very scary way.
It's funny how these.
I love that movie. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's so funny how these really scary monsters from 100 years ago or 80 years ago or 200 years ago, they all become good guys in the late 20th century.
Yeah,
well, that's what you do in the sequels. The first bad guy becomes the new ally.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't the creature become wasn't the creature an ally in Van Helsing? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
That's
he
right.
helped them fight Dracula. Underrated movie, by the way. Has a lot of bad parts in it, mostly everything involving Dracula, but I think it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not great.
I mean,
but
if you like the Mummy movies, it's by the same guy. It's very much in the same vein.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I really didn't like what they did with Dracula, but I thought everything else was very good.
Well,
And
it wasn't.
how many
That
movies
wasn't
do you
even really
have?
Dracula either. So
Yeah. And how many movies do you have Van Helsing and Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and Mr. Hyde all in the same movie, aside from Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen, but Frankenstein's not in that.
not yet. It wasn't. I haven't read the graphic novels, but wasn't Frankenstein in one of those?
No, I've read them all, and I
I-
don't think he's in any of them.
Oh.
Okay, never mind. I think there's a brief mention of him in one of the Anno Dracula.
Oh, I'm sure he gets
books.
mentioned because they mention every single literary character
Oh, yeah,
ever,
yeah.
but it's all in like appendices and indexes and stuff.
Well, and like I said, he was a very big character in Penny Dreadful.
The horror.
I didn't see that.
Ooh, you need to see that. It was a good show.
Hey, I just discovered that there's a Frankenstein-related show on Netflix from 2015 called The Frankenstein Chronicles, starring my
I'm
guy,
playing it right now on mute.
Sean Bean. I love Sean Bean. I just saw him live in an airport once. He's
Yeah,
a short little, good-looking guy. But I actually loved him back when he was like a not-a-known actor, at least not in North America, with Sharp, the whole Sharp Rifle series, if you know what I'm
And
talking about.
my best friend is very obsessed with that series. I think she kind of sort of twisted my arm into watching like half of that.
Yeah, I was living that lifestyle at the time, but I digress. Based on the Bernard Cornwell series of books, there's like 40
Right.
of them out. Oh, well. Have you guys actually seen this Frankenstein Chronicles, the British drama series from 2015?
I started watching it this morning. I only got one episode in. I may try to get through more of it this week. It looks really, really good, but I haven't had a lot of time to watch it. Been catching up on other things the last couple of days.
So I suppose you have to take it one piece at a time.
Yes, definitely one piece at a time.
All right.
It's not really thrilling me so far. There hasn't been a single car chase or pie thrown in someone's face yet. So
It happens
Not really
in the
my
19th
speed.
century, Derek. 19th century.
There are no cars in the.
they could have a wagon chase, a horse chase,
Oh God.
and they had cream pies back then.
Not. Yeah, never. Let's not go there.
I bet you there's a Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein movie somewhere where they throw a cream pie in Frankenstein's face.
I know there is an Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I
Yeah.
think, but I don't know. I don't remember if there are any pies.
Always with the food, Derek. Always with the food. Well, guys, if Mary Shelley was still alive today at age 385 or whatever, What do you think she would make of the influence and the impact of her novel that she started to write when she was 18?
She would say, "Where's my residuals?"
I don't know.
Yeah, because right now the image of Frankenstein, the one with the bolts and the squirrel's head, apparently that's trademarked by Warner Brothers because all the monster movies from the 1930s.
Don't you mean Universal?
Yes, of Universal. Sorry.
Yeah, because that stuff wasn't in the novel. That was their invention. So
yeah, Universal. But whereas the Frankenstein as a creature is not. It just can't have the same imagery going on.
Right.
So
yeah, because the copyright expires. I want to say 80 years after the author dies.
Yeah,
75 years, something.
I think
like
it's 75 in the States. It depends on the jurisdiction, and consult a trademark lawyer or property intellectual property lawyer for accurate information.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen, if our dear customers are still with us at this point and they haven't died, and they're still listening to us, if you really want to get deep into the whole Mary Shelley and her influence on just storytelling, NPR On Point, so National Public Radio, did an excellent podcast show that was released on February 13th, 2018. It's on iTunes. Go listen to it. It's a bit highbrow, but man, if you're an academic, you can get right into this stuff.
No cream pies then?
No cream pies.
Okay.
So, any last words on Mary Shelley and her creature that she created, one Mr. Frankenstein, as opposed to Dr. Frankenstein? Well, in fact, there's probably two monsters she created.
I would just like to point out for the sticklers out there, calling the monster Frankenstein is acceptable, even though some people say that's not acceptable. But it is. It's kind of like saying ain't. It's basically so commonly used at this point. It's not wrong to do it. So the fact that we are saying Frankenstein, it's cool.
We usually refer to it as Frankenstein's monster or the creature, though.
Not every time.
Not every time, but yeah.
Yes, please send your hate mail to Derek at... Okay. Well, we're going to close up for this episode. We're going to try to stay on our release schedule. So every 2 weeks will be an episode coming out. So hopefully we can stick to that. I am traveling for work for the next couple of weeks, so it's going to be challenging. No promises.
I was just about to say the vacations are over, but never mind.
Yeah, I know. It's, podcasting. It's an interesting hobby. For the SciFi Pubcast, you can always contact us and follow us on social media. The whole Twitter world thing, we're at SciFi Pubcast. And we have a Facebook page managed by Derek, no less. I do the Twitter page. Our network is When Nerds Attack. So they have a website, they have a Facebook group, they have a Patreon, and they have a Twitter address at Nerds Attack Pods.
Oh, speaking of When Nerds Attack, when they open their episode and they're all horribly out of sync saying it at the same time? Can we do that?
No.
Okay. Right now, let's do it.
Let's not steal their shtick, okay?
When Nerds Attack.
No.
Yeah. The SciFi Pubcast. Oh, right.
The SciFi Pubcast.
Moving on.
No, guys.
Yeah. If you're in the mood, if you want to do us a solid, leave us an iTunes review. A positive one. And then send us an email at management@scifipubcast.space, and I will send you a sticker. Yes, a sticker. It's called a bribe. Moving on. Okay, so Carrie, where can people find you on this Twitter
nonsense?
Yeah.
You can find me at Carrie Blackfire42. That's KERI Blackfire42.
And Derek?
At Derek JBB.
And I'm at Joel_Welch. Yes, it's original Twitter name. So that's it, guys. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see you next time. It's closing time. Make it home safe, because we love you all.
Bye.
Even you, Derek.
Bye.
Bye now.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Drew M. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly, and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.